got it here. All right. Finally started working. Hey, Bob. It is Friday. The weeks just go by now. I'm getting so old. So many teachers would just make their students play chords so they could practice soloing. That's a bad teacher. If you got a teacher like that, you need to move on. You need to find another teacher. Which is what I was, except you guys weren't playing for me. Harsh, what's going on? I don't recognize you. You're new. Welcome. I will put a Discord link up in a minute. John, Dennis, Dan, good to see you. Leo, I got your message. See, where did you send it? I think you sent it to my Facebook, the Pro Guitar Secrets Facebook page, which I try to check more. I probably should post every day something, just even if it's just funny, like that Steve Ray Vaughan playing the Steve Vai guitar. That's just somebody did a really good Photoshop, so I posted it there. It's pretty hilarious. So I should try to do that just to engage people more. I don't even remember sometimes to put up notifications that I put a new video up, which is I'm not talking about live stream, but I'm talking about an actual video. So I have to do that more. I've got also it's just a lot of things to remember. I have the Twitter. That's just a personal Twitter, and so that one, you know, I'll put other stuff up there. But I'm not on Twitter hardly at all. So, just I don't know. Yeah, more Steve Vai. It's funny. So, let's see. Who else? Oh, Daryl or Darren. Good to see you. So Harsh, where are you located at? You know, by the name, I'm going to say India for some reason. I'm not really sure, but it's interesting. We do have a lot of viewers from India, and then so what I was just jamming when I was jamming. This is Pentatonic number 2 with the blues notes in it. okay? And the blues notes are literally blue. And you'll notice in some ways, you know, we talk about pentatonic number 1 being the best. Oh, I got to turn on my light. I knew I forgot something. Hold on. I'm not leaving the room. I'm not leaving the room. I'm not leaving the room. See, I'm still here, 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 still here. That wasn't a sippable offense. Make sure you have a libation. It doesn't have to be a frosty or frothy libation. It can be a regular libation. Had a band in high school called Frothy Libation, which that is a sippable offense. If I say I had a band in high school called, you know, that's a you get to take a sip. I've also got a little bit of food here. I got to eat something, but pants are confirmed. Roger is here, the house engineer. So you know, like we talk about pentatonic number 1 being the best because it just fits great. Everybody uses it all the time. So when you figure out rock and roll guitar licks, chances are they're probably going to be in pentatonic number 1. Not always, but oftentimes. It has 3 of the minor roots, A's, and 3 of the major roots, C. And it's the only pentatonic of the 5 that has 3 major roots and 3 minor roots. Pentatonic number 2, I kind of call the second best scale of the 5. It's number 2 because it's next to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's number 2 in value, I would say, because it's right next to number 1, so which means you're going to be hanging out by it all the time. It has 3 major roots, so it has 3 C's, and we're going to see that in a second. But it only has 2 A's. But here's the thing: when we play A minor, when we play pentatonic number 1, and we added the blues notes, we only had 2. We only had 2 E flats in there. But with this one, you can see we have 3. And they're not very, this one, I don't use that one very often. If I were to do this shape, like if I'm jamming, it's a little on the low side. So I'm kind of more likely to, I might do that. But this one's great, right here. Right in the middle of the neck, first and second, third fingers. And then this one is great too. Even though it's out of position, you can bend up to it, or you can pull off from it. Or you can hammer on, or you can play it. You can just pluck it. So here's your root of your 1 chord, which is that A7 to D7 progression. So there's an A in both of these chords, so I can just sit on A. Okay, I don't live in Bel Air. I'm not a guitar god. So there's that. Just so if anyone's wondering, Bel Air is a very nice neighborhood. I'm up the road a bit. We're both off of the 405. You can say that. Well, nice to meet you, man, and thank you. I'm a legend in my spare time. That's for sure. So I'm gonna pull up. I've got a couple other versions of this. One with the with the minor roots marked. The red notes are A's. And again, if you look at the A, the red note to the blue note, you can really see that tritone, that flat 5, right? A, C, D, E flat, E. So you can see that relationship that kind of creates that kind of creates that blues sound. All right. And then I also did a diagram. I did all this morning. So I got up early so that I could create these for you guys. I hope you appreciate it, for you guys and gals. Although I haven't seen Bonnie since we moved to the new time. Bonnie and Jim. And Leo, Leo messaged me about helping me with my Spanish pronunciation. It's just the R's. I gotta go. Camarero, waiter, right? Camarero. It's hard. And fortunately, my Spanish-speaking friends don't generally make fun of me. Pablo, who I'm working with right now, he's the best at teaching me Spanish. He is so patient, and he takes great joy. And whenever I get a new thing down, he's like so good at that. So it's really fun to I'm amazed. I'm starting to understand more. I've been in foreign countries, and like when I was in Korea and Japan, particularly, they understood a lot more than they were willing to speak. They were hesitant to speak because they were paranoid about their accent or the fact that they weren't maybe intelligible or whatever, to me anyway. But boy, they sure understood what we were saying. So I can see where that would happen. I'm getting better at hearing words in sentences. And right now we're in the middle of, Bonnie's on. Oh, there's Bonnie. Oh, hey, sorry. Oh, okay, well, that explains it. Well, that's a bummer. Bonnie's computer crashed. We're watching Money Heist right now. I don't know if you've watched Money Heist. And it's in Spanish. It's a Spanish show. And it's a horrible name. It's actually, in Spain, they call it Paper House, which is a much better name. I don't know why they called it Money Heist. Money Heist sounds like a parody. Okay. Okay. Wow, that goes way back. Don't worship me, please. I'll let you down. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, who would have thought Justin Bieber would be singing over ninth chords and sixth chords, and that's it. But he liked this. He wrote over it. Was it? It's been a while. Yeah, it's cool. And that the take on the record, of course, I have my capo on the first fret because I just played another song on the acoustic record, all around the world, or what's the name of that song? And it was a capo first fret. So I started jamming on it in that, and Justin was like, "Hey," he's like in the booth. He's like, "Hey, Strahle, what's that?" And I hear Josh go, "Oh man, that's one of Strahle's dope jams." God bless you, Josh. And Justin goes, "Hey, Tom, can I write to that?" And I was kind of like, "I don't know, JB." And he's like, "Really?" And I'm like, "No, of course you can write to it." And so Josh said, "We're rolling." So I recorded. And I think he gave me, what was the tempo? Was it 100? Gave me clicks at 100 or something. Actually, it was faster than I would have done it. But I think I remember Kook telling me at one point, "Oh, you should do that faster. It'll be more fun." So I started playing it faster. So it's less chill than it should have been. But yeah, that actual recording is the first pass. So, I mean, I knew it so well. No. Well, if you have some different meaning of the word worship. So you can see here we have the three major roots in the key of the C major pentatonic, which if you just, so this scale, if you just skip the A, put the A at the end of this, I could do that. If I just go like this, edit, boom, C, D, E, E flat, oh wait, whoops, E flat, E, G, and A. Okay? Same exact scale. All I did was I took that A and I put it at the end. And so that the difference between those two, this is probably not the best place for this. Or I can make it smaller. The A sounds like this. Well, I'll play it here. The C one sounds like this. Same exact notes, just starting and ending on two different notes. And the C major. You know, again, here's, I always forget to talk about this because we talked about it so many times in the past, but in the caged method, you can see right here if you do the bar chord at the 8th fret, the major bar chord, you know, just take this E chord, go up. We're in the E form. Of the caged method, we're in E right here. We're using the E shape. We're in the key of C, but we're using E shapes. Okay, so, but now you can see the relationship between the root of C major pentatonic and that blue note is now a minor third. You can also play that E right there. So you can see normally C major pentatonic would be C, D, E, G, A. Okay? It would have a very happy sound. And if you get rid of the D and get rid of the A, you would just have holy, holy, holy. You'd have a major triad. Right? So the blue note is the flat E or E flat. But it's the flatted third of the E. So that definitely makes it blues. Because remember, like B.B. King would do that all the time. He would hit that flat third over this major chord. He might bend it up, and that's what we're doing. And you could almost call this kind of a B.B. King scale, almost in some ways, because he wouldn't hit that third very often. Well, he would. He would do that a lot, but he wouldn't hit that ninth as often as he would maybe the third. Generally, John, what you can do, okay, so John is asking a question, and the progression that I put up was A7 to D7, and never goes to the E7, okay? Because, yes, you are right, John, usually over the 5 chord, in this case it would be the E7, I would make some kind of accommodation. For example, the C note, which is the yellow note here, sounds pretty bad over the E7 chord. So that's where I would probably take that down to a B. And if I were playing A minor pentatonic, like here, and I took all the C's down to B, I would have basically pentatonic number 3, which is our least favorite one. I would have that in the key of E minor. So I'm playing basically then at that moment when I'm playing over the 5 chord in A, and don't worry, oops. There won't be a quiz on this. And you can order these mugs on my YouTube channel, okay? Unfortunately, they don't put the mugs up front. It's all t-shirts and stuff. So you have to click on it and go to and order it as a mug. I think somebody ordered it as a sticker. Was that you, Leo? I think somebody ordered it as a sticker. You can put it on anything then. You can put it on your forehead. That's what I would do. But yeah, there won't be a quiz on this. But anyway, the 5 chord in the A7 in the A blues is E7, and so one way to play over, just like you're using the A minor pentatonic over the A7 chord, John, you could use the E minor pentatonic over the E7 chord. Okay, and I can create a progression real quick doing that with that chord in there in a second, But what you probably don't want to do is just go up to, like if you're playing here, and then you get to the E chord, do the exact same scale up at the 12th fret. You want to use that scale, but you want to try to position it wherever you are at the moment. You'll find that you play much more musically if you can do that. Plus, you're learning a new scale. Plus, you're learning, and what have I said in the past? I say this all the time, and this is not a sippable offense. But if a note sounds bad, 100% of the time, I'm going to say 99.95% of the time, a note that will work is either a half step below the note you're on or a half step above the note you're on. And that's a perfect example. This is a perfect example of that. You know, we're playing A minor pentatonic. And again, I'm using pentatonic number 1 because we're so familiar with that one, okay? And we get to that E7 chord, and it just doesn't sound very good. You got like, I mean, that sounds cool. But it's, you know, at the same time, if you were playing both at the same time, it wouldn't be so bad or so good. So what you do is, instead, we did this, if you remember when we did Blues Basics, we were in E minor and we were playing in E blues, and we took those 4 notes on the top there, and in this case, A minor, and to accommodate the D7 chord a little bit more in the pocket, we took the 2nd string note on the pinky and we took it down a fret. So this works better. That works better over the D7 chord. And then over the E7 chord, if you take that C down to B, in this case, oh, you know what? I can post the scales up on Discord right now. Let's see if I did the other ones. Tom's bookmarks. Here we go. Yes, I did the other ones. So here's the new ones. They're going. I'm going there now. Choose. Upload. 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 Why did I have to hit it 4 times? Okay. I only think I put 3. Yeah. So those are they're all up there now. So if you want to grab those and put them in a Word doc or something like that and organize them a little bit better, you can print it up. And it's gonna. If you print that up, it's going to look like this. It was giant. So you don't want to do that. I mean, you can if you want, but that's pretty preposterous. But yeah, so John, you're exactly right. You know, I would definitely make an accommodation for. That's why I didn't put the E7 chord in that jam. Okay, because my goal was to try to get you to play this scale. And for it to sound good. And there's a million songs that go 1-4, 1-4, especially in soul music. I think of Knock on Wood, Soul Man. There's a lot of kind of R&B soul songs that just go 1-4, 1-4, 1-4. Yeah, I think this one works fine. I can accommodate, I can take that when I'm over the D7 chord, I could change the G note, which is, oh wait, did I screw up on this? Oh my goodness, I totally screwed up on this. You guys, did I not, hold on. Oh my gosh, the scale's totally wrong. I'm so embarrassed. Hold on a second. That's what happens when I get up early to do the scale. Actually, it's funny because that scale has the F sharp in it. Oh my gosh. So sorry about that. That should actually be, I'm going to have to change that. I'm going to go to Discord now and just delete those. Delete message. Yes. Hey, I only did this so Harsh knows that I'm human and not worthy of worship. And Harsh, yeah, I've written a lot of songs with Justin. You asked that question. I wanted to answer that. Let's see, where is that? How have you made any other songs with Justin? Yes. Home to Mama, I wrote. And that was with Sam Hook. Let's see. And then Pooh Bear and I wrote ETA on the new record. Charlie, you've been going crazy. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. Now I got to go and get. Oh gosh, darn it. I mean, I'm just like, I just didn't catch it, so I deleted it, and now I'm gonna have to. You guys want me to make it right now while we wait? I can totally do that. I can talk while we do this, so let me try to make this right. I apologize. I apologize, but I need my laptop to do it. Hold on. It won't take me that long. So yeah, so Harsh, yeah, and there seems like there's others too. I'm trying to think what other songs I've written with just. Well, I mean, they give me writer's credit on the one song he wrote for his mom. That was the first one I got credit on. Let's see. What am I looking for? Here we go. YouTube videos. Dang it. Wait, what? That's not what I did. Weird. Oh, here we go. Dang. All right, so I fixed it. Now I just got to do the color dot thing. I am a real human. I'm more human than you know. Okay, now I've got to go through and make the, what is it? I make the minors are red, right? The minor roots are red, and then the major roots are orange. Yeah, major orange. Okay, so, oops. All right, now I go through. Dang it. I can't believe I did this. And is that the orange I used, or is it this one? I used this one. All right. I'm triple checking right now. Charlie was going insane. Charlie's like, that's not right. I'm like, yeah. I hope you all caught my mistake. Okay, now I have to go and name these. Sorry, this takes a second. Okay, this is P1, so that way I can easily find it. No, it's not P1, P2, minor B. Change this to. So anyway, how's it going? How's your day going? I could cut this part out. In fact, I should just start the lesson all over again. See ya. Wouldn't want to be P2 minor B. All right. Oh, wait. What? You're right. It's major. Gosh, I am like... See, this is my new time. It's too early. I'm not awake yet. Is that right? That's the major one. Okay. So now I have to get them over to the other computer. All right. I see lots of comments coming out. I'm afraid. I'm very afraid. All right. I think we're good. There they are. All right. So now, oh, but this is the pain. I have to go and the thing that's slow is the OBS. This is the thing that's slow. So I have to go. It's like delete, remove. Yes. Okay. Now I got. But so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert this one. I don't need them all. Image. It just takes forever to. It's like I said. It's a very cumbersome software. Okay. So I think this is right now. I'll catch up on the comments here in a second. Gary's here. Oh no, I'm worried. This is Hey, Gary, if I ever do this again, it's eat a whole meal or drink a six-pack. He's going to be adding this to the... All right. Is that right, Charlie? I'm depending on you. All right, let's... I mean, yeah, we don't need to worry about the roots. Got it. Oh, you got to get back to patience. Okay, we'll check back in a while. Thanks for the explanation. No worries. The other unplanned solo, exactly. Let's see. Anthony. Okay. Oh, hey, Anthony. Yeah. Secondary dominance. Just explain secondary dominance to me. No, Dennis, this is yeah. This is not a sippable offense. Should we all back out and start over again? Yeah. We haven't even started to play this scale, so it's a good thing. Yeah, whatever, Bruce. Yeah, Bruce is saying I make one mistake for his 100. Yeah, don't cut a finger off. Don't make that mistake. Bruce is making me a cigar box guitar, so we're gonna have fun with that when it shows up. We're gonna do an unboxing. I'm gonna take a chance that it's not awful. I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's see. Yeah, early morning. It's exactly right, Charlie. It's like, oh, it's too early. You know what? You're right. I did have coffee, but I'd only gotten about 1/5 through the cup. And actually, the note change was I didn't take that second string note up. Oh, perfect, Max. So lunch, eat lunch. That's a lunchable offense. We're gonna have to buy Lunchables, Gary. You're gonna have to have Lunchables in your fridge just in case I do that again. It's just called. Well, no. Basically, Gary, my rule is if you make a mistake playing jazz, do it again. They'll think you did it on purpose. So, they'll think it was intentional. I think you could. Harsh, there are a couple people that have done tutorials on ETA, and they are pretty darn correct. I actually did a video. If you look up in my videos, I can find it for you, where I kind of play along with it. I think. Yeah, I kind of did the first half of it or so. I did not monetize that video because I'm not the only owner of that song, and YouTube immediately recognized it. Let's see. Uploads. How long ago was it? But it was actually, the video was... Listening to ETA for the first time. Yeah, I think... Oh, what? Partially blocked. The video contains copyright material as a result. It's been blocked in some countries and regions. Oh, weird. But you're in the U.S., so you should be able to see it. Yeah. And so here's the link for that. The one that's pretty close. I mean, the thing about that song is it's not a loop. Actually, they grabbed that song out of a 5-minute loop. It was over 5 minute long, not loop, 5-minute recording I did here at home. And so they took that, and they did chop it up a little bit, but for the most part, there's very little repetition in there. I think there's one thing, I think when maybe this, or was it, what did I do? I think that they used more than once, and I probably played it more than once, but I listened to the original recording, and it's not the same order, but I gave them plenty to work with. And a lot of times what they would do back in, say, 10 years ago is they would take 4 bars and just loop that and make it a song. I like to give them enough for a full song, and they love that because it makes it more human. rather than being this loop, it almost sounds like a robot because it's the same lick over and over again. And that was a big thing to do in the 90s and the 2000s and even 2010s. But now I think pop music's getting more song form. Okay, so let's play this scale. And I'm going to tell you right up front that generally that first blue note here, I probably rarely grab. For one thing, I rarely play down here on pentatonic too. Remember, I told you that the way we tend to play through these scales oftentimes is through the box shapes. And so a lot of times you'll play the top part of this pentatonic number 2 because you're wanting to take pentatonic number 1 higher. You're in 1 and you want to go higher. But there's really no reason to go to there when you can play all those right here. So these notes don't get played as much, I would say. If there was a way to keep track, it's like, when you're looking at basketball games and they got that grid and it shows where the X's are where he missed shots from and the circles are where he made shots from. It's kind of like that. I wish the guitar would keep track of where you put your fingers in different keys, and then you could kind of see your tendencies. But definitely everybody's tendency is to kind of, not so much play through the scale like this, is more to use segments of it. Like that, those middle 2 strings, ooh, magic. That's really good. I love the top 2 strings. Okay, so basically, we'll play it now. But so how would you figure that? So because you're already on your pinky when you're on the D note. So again, you might take it there. You might do that. That would be more common for me to go here. I wrote it this way because I needed to squeeze it into 5 frets. So I didn't want it to be over 6 frets. But we could play with our first finger here. Let's do that just to get through this scale so we have it from bottom to top and top to bottom, okay? So put your first finger on the 8th fret of the 6th string, then third finger on the 10th fret, and then pinky on the 11th, and then reach down and grab the E note, which is at the 7th fret, and then pinky on the 10th, and then first finger on the 7th again, then pinky on the 10th. Okay, so that's not changed at all. Then we go first finger on the 7th, we're on the G string now. And then we go second finger on the 8th, third finger on the 9th. Okay, now we're going to position shift. First finger on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, third finger on the 10th fret of the 2nd string, first finger on the 8th fret of the 1st string, third finger on the 10th fret of the 1st string, and then the pinky on the E flat, which is the flat. Hey, Clem, don't worry. It's the first time we played through the scale. Let's play it backwards. Pinky on the 11, third finger on the 10, first finger on the 8, and then we're just going to go ahead and do 10, 8 again, with the third finger, first finger. Then we're going to shift down, put our third finger on the 9th fret, then second finger on the 8th fret, first finger on the 7th fret, okay, then pinky on the 10th fret. So there was our blues section, okay, and then again 10, 7, and then we're going to reach up and get this 11, 10, and then 6, totally distorting the microphone, and then the C. Okay, the last note. So it doesn't lay as well as the standard pentatonic, which makes sense because we've got a couple notes that are outside of the 4 frets. Now the other way you could play this, second finger on the C right there, on the 8th fret, 10th fret with your pinky, then reach down to the 6th fret with your first finger, And then I would just go and play the 7th fret with your first finger, like that. So do that with me. 2nd finger, 8th, then 10th fret, then 6th fret. Okay? And I might do that in the context of a real lick. I don't know that I would do that like that, but I might even do that. See that? So go 6, and then 7, just slide it, and then hit the 10th fret of the 4th string. So that's E flat to E to C. Okay? Right? It's like oh, I'm out of tune. Was it? But when B.B. King, Chuck Berry does that little lick, he's hammering the flat 3. He's hammering the 3 from the flat 3. This is what we're doing there. Okay, let me tune. Oh, the B string. Weird. I must have bent it. Oh, they're all out of tune. They're all flat. And the E string is the only one in tune. I was driving Charlie crazy again. All right, let's see. Did I miss anything? Okay, now you're talking, sir. Thank you. No worries, Harsh. Let's see. It's 29 watching. Come on, we can do better than that. What are we at now? 30. All right, well, that's better. One better. That's one more, isn't it? Hey, what's that from? That's one more, isn't it? Come on, yeah, I know you know this one. If I say the sentence before, then you'll be like, you'll know what it's from. But the joke is in the sentence before. But I actually like what he says after that. That's one more, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, still a lot of regulars missing. I know, it's the new time. And I got a message, a TikTok message from, I'm not on TikTok, so I couldn't really see it, from from Pepper. So, well, Bonnie's here. No, it's not a sippable offense, but take a sip. Okay, if you're dying to take a sip, I'll touch my face. That is a sippable offense. You're here taking a break. Awesome, Pepper. Yeah, sometimes those TikTok things will load and sometimes they won't. It's weird. I don't have an account, so I totally understand. You work so hard on your studies. It's crazy. Okay, so let's do some licks here. Start on the 4th string at the 7th fret with your first finger, and then go pinky, the 10th fret, and then go back to the 3rd fret. Third string, 7th fret, and then go 8th fret, and then back down. So it's got, I'll tell you the letter names in a second. It's 7th fret, 10th fret, next string, 7th fret, 8th fret, back down to 7th fret, back down to 10th fret on the 4th string. Okay. That lick works really well over both the A7 chord, which is the 1 chord in the blues of A, and the D7 chord, which is the 4 chord. And that's what that progression was that I had up here. See, a lick as simple as that, and I would call that a fairly simple lick. I know some of you are probably going, but, uh-oh. You have to turn on the lights. Major storm coming. Oh, no, Gary, take care. Keep yourself safe. So it's getting dark out there. But you'll notice how you can literally do that thousands of different ways. And And you don't have to hit, or you can go. Oh, we did that the other day. I did that. I said, what is that? Some Earth, Wind, and Fire. Is it Earth, Wind, and Fire's version of "Got to Get You Into My Life"? That's what it's. That's what's coming to my mind for some reason. Nice, Darren. So yeah, so I notice I went up to that E flat, that blue note, and just kind of. Who was it? It was Gary was saying, about make a mistake twice and they'll think you did it on purpose. And it's kind of like one of those things because that's the outside note. That's the blue note. That note is not in the key. That's not in over either one of these chords. In fact, if anything, that E flat contradicts the E of the A7 chord and really contradicts the D of the D7 chord. That note should not work. But yet, when you do a lick like that, it works because you're selling it. It's like if you do this, oh shoot, everybody will know it was a mistake. Don't let them see it. Just let them be like. That's why they make faces. That's why they make. You got to make that stink face. You got to practice the stink face, and you can't do it in a mirror because your eyes have to be closed. So you have to film yourself with your phone and watch it. Make sure you have the stink face down, okay? Really how you play guitar. So, but yeah, but you can also be very subtle with that note. You could go, I love that. So play the D. Oh, let me tell you the notes real quick, then the letter names. A, C, D, E flat. A, C, D, E flat. Okay? But I could go D and then hammer on and pull off the E flat. Yeah, right? Everybody needs to post a picture of their stink face. Definitely, Angus Young definitely has a stink face. But so does Stevie Ray Vaughan. Okay, so if I do that and then finish off with the CA, sounds great over that. And then again, all sorts of variations. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorite licks. Okay, so I don't want to get off of that point. Okay, so now let's do another lick. I'll show you another one. Kind of the same thing, but we'll have. Let's see, where am I going? I want that, then this one. I have to dang it, I did it wrong. I have to organize my windows. Okay. So we're going to go up here. So we're going to put our first finger on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, then 10th fret, first. Okay, so we're doing that little box, the top 2 strings of the pentatonic number 2. But then we're going to get that E flat. There's again that blue note that we're gonna have fun with that doesn't work over either one of those chords, but totally works over both of the chords. So theoretically, it's wrong. Musically, it's magic. Isn't that great? That's some great thing about this. Oh, 36 watching. Cool. So let's see. And notice I'm going to end on this note, which is the A. Okay? That's the root in the key of A. Right? It's the root of the A chord. It's the root of the A key. But it's also the 5th of the B chord, or the D chord. So you know that note's going to, the 5th of the D chord's going to work fine too. There's so much we can do right there. even on acoustic, you might be able to, don't break a string, but. Hey Keith, welcome. Good morning. And you know what? Also, I've told you this before. One of the things about blues, and the reason blues kind of work well on that oud, is because you don't even have to get all the way to that E flat to make it work. You can. So if you want to practice bending to that E flat, what I do is I pick it and then bend to it. Ah. Okay, so let's do this lick. Let's go third finger on the 10th fret, first finger on the first string, sorry. Third finger again, and then pinky back to the third finger, first finger, and then end on this. Same thing we did here, pretty much. Right? It's just up an octave, so it's an octave higher. It's still A, C, D, E flat, D, C, A. Okay? But yeah, we could. I mean, you can milk that E flat D relationship there. You can bend that. You can just sit on that. Okay, let me play using just those notes. I may go to that G under the A. The G is under the A. Ah, just broke a string. Dang it. It's hilarious. Okay, that is, well, now you don't have to take a sip because you know I'm going to change guitars. Boy, am I human today. So now I got to grab another guitar. What am I going to grab? Let's see. See how this patch sounds with the. Yeah. I hate it when I do that. Put the guitar on top of the cable. Oh, no, the telly is packed away. That's not a telly on the wall. An apple. I don't know. The telly is packed away. That is a baritone. The copper Telecaster in the corner is a baritone. Oh, this guitar is in tune. That's odd for a Gibson. God. I know how to play it. It's so funny. Now, hopefully I won't get a copyright infringement. Boy, it seems kind of dark, though, because this guitar is so dark. It also feels like, compared to that guitar, this guitar, when I play at the 8th fret, it feels like I'm playing at the 5th fret because the neck is so stinking long, you know, like it's complete access. Oh, is it buffering? Oh, it looks good right now. It must have. See, if it buffers, I'm taking a sip because But it's not. It should be good now, at least on my end. But I've seen two people. Yeah, everybody's saying it's buffered. Is it? It should be better now. Because I got green here. I got 3,000 megabytes per second. Or kilobytes per second, sorry. Not megabytes. That'd be awesome. Yeah, my t-shirt's inside out. This video is getting deleted as soon as we're done. All right. So let's see. So I can't use this scene here. So what I'll do is I'll delete this. Yeah, I wasn't counting on the. I like to wear my shirts inside out. I do that all the time, actually. Especially my sweatshirts, because when the kids were little, sweatshirts are like soft on the inside and not on the outside, so I would wear them inside out, so the kids would really like that better. Give you more hugs that way. Let's see. I want to delete this. Remove. See that one? Oh, wait. No. What the heck? Well, that one's. Did I fix them all? Charlie, that one's right. So it was just the one that was wrong. Or did I replace them? I don't remember my brain. No, I must have replaced them because those are yeah, I can have a bad day, right? Okay, so here, let's see. If we go back to here, you can see, like I said, the relationship between the see this guitar, the A and the E flat. The A is the red note, which is the root of the A minor pentatonic, and the E flat, there's your flat 5. So you can really see here. Okay, so maybe try this. If I'm going to do this lick, I'm probably going to use my 3rd and 2nd finger. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling off my 3rd finger to my 2nd, so 11 to 10, and then to 8. And you can pluck each time, or if your fingers get strong enough, you can I don't even need to pluck. And in fact, whenever somebody's doing playing guitar with their teeth, they're really just doing that. You know, they're just making it look like they're playing with their teeth, but generally they're not. Okay. No worries, Bonnie. You take off. Yeah. So, and then if I go to the major one, and like I said before, the thing about, we like Pentatonic 1 because it's easy to play, because so many rock gods use it when they solo, and because it has 3 major roots and 3 minor roots. So it has, in this case, it has 3 A's and 3 C's. And Pentatonic 2 has 3 C's. And you can see them right there in the yellow. Those are the 3 C's. So for major, this is a good one because it got 3 roots. But the blues notes, we only had 2 of those in Pentatonic number 1. We had one here and we had one here. Okay, so we only had 2 blues notes. But in Pentatonic number 2, we have 3. So you have to make a face on them. Now again, like I said, I probably don't use this one very often, the pinky up here or the down here, but I might, but not very often. Okay. No, I think I'm good this Monday. It's a week from today that I won't be here. I know for sure that I won't be able to make next Friday. No, I can tell you why, but not yet, and I'll tell you later. No big deal. It's nothing crazy. Everything's good. So that's kind of one of the advantages to Pentatonic number 2 blues, or like we could call it blues number 2, I guess, is that it does have 3 of those blues roots. But the 2 ones we're going to use the most are the one right here and the one right here. Oops, right here. This neck. All right. And then John, who's gone now, mentioned, do you make accommodations for the 5 chord and 4 chord stuff? And yeah, you know, the minor pentatonic works pretty good over the 1 and 4 chord. You could make a slight accommodation. So if I wanted to, over the 4 chord, I could take the G notes, which one's here, okay, on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, and one's on the 10th fret of the 5th string, and I could take those both down to F sharps if I wanted to, for the D7. Okay, it'll sound a little bit more in the pocket, so it would be like. It's kind of a weird scale. It's not particularly any named scale you can come up with. But I can show that to you in the context. I'll try to keep it real simple. Like, for example, if I just go A, G, A, G, A, G, that works great over the A7 because there's an A and a G in A7. A, C sharp, D, I'm sorry, A, C sharp, E, G. And there won't be a quiz on this. So take a sip, a celebratory sip. And then if I take that G down a fret to F sharp, then that accommodates the 3rd of the D7 chord. And you go. So here's what that sounds like over this. So you can see we're making that change, you know, is I would say almost skews towards the jazz and less bluesy, but it's still, you know, it works. So that would be an accommodation, one accommodation you could make for the 4 chord in the key of A. But the 5 chord I didn't even put in that progression because I didn't want to have this isn't going to sound great over the 5 chord, which is E7. But I can change this. So watch. I'm gonna I'll duplicate this, and I can do a thing where I just take the yeah, I can take this and just go up a whole step. So now we're gonna have oops, I gotta make the drums go there too. Now it's gonna go to the 5 chord here. See that? Now, one way you can accommodate the 5 chord is take that C note down to B. See, if I didn't do it, the only thing that the C works is because it's anticipating the A. It's telling your listeners that you know you're going back to A. But if I take that C down to B, it works a little bit better over the E7 chord. So that's a super common change to make in the minor blues. So we did that. If you go back to our blues basics we did back when we were doing the daily lessons. Remember we took that little shape, 0, 3, 0, 3 on the top two strings. And that worked great over E7. It's kind of, you might want to bend that G up. And when we got to the A chord, we could play that. It's totally legit. A lot of guys do that, but a lot of players do that. But one thing we could do is take that D note and go down to the second fret. So we play the second fret on the second string. And that's a very B.B. King thing to do. And he would play that also over the E7. He would play it over the E7 and the A7. In other words, over the 1 and the 4 chord. Because that D is that 7th over the, it's like that D. It's kind of more kind of in your face. The C sharp is a more happy sound. And then the accommodation we made for the B7 chord was we took this shape, the 0, 3, 0, 3, and we played 0, 3, 0, 2. So we had 3 total shapes that we made. 0, 3, 0, 3, we had 0, 2, 0, 3, we had 0, 3, 0, 2. Kind of like the binary thing. The only one we didn't do was 0, 2, 0, 2, which 0, 2, 0, 2 would also work. It would work over all 3 of those chords, actually. Which, by the way, that would be the top 4 notes of the E major pentatonic. Okay? Again, don't worry so much about the theory behind all this, okay? It starts to sink in. But the premise is that you can, for the most part, in blues, use one scale. Like, for example, in A blues, you could use A minor pentatonic, and it'll work. But there's going to be a moment, and you go, typically in a blues progression, a 12-bar blues progression, out of those 12 bars, you might have 2 of the bars, which is a pretty small percentage, 2/12, 1/6 of the time, we'll have the 5 chord, which is the one where that scale kind of doesn't work. That's why when I created this progression initially here for me to jam over, I just created it going 1/4, 1/4. I never went to the 5 chord. Mainly because I wanted to practice the scale and show you the scale, but also mainly because I wanted to avoid that 5 chord, because the scale doesn't sound great over the 5 chord. Okay, so now let's do this. I'm going to take another snippet of the scale. We're going to play it again. And this time I want you to play with me. We're going to start on the D note. We're going to go. So we're going to have to do a little position shift, but we're going to go set on the 3rd string 5, 8, 9, and then up to 10, 8, 10. And I like that one because of the. And so there is no D note. So when we go down to that D note, there's no D note over the A chord. So we might go back to the E. We can even just go like that. But over the D7 chord, we could just stay there. Okay, so let me show you that. So if I'm playing over the A, I might want to go back over. So there's a D. Here's the A. See, this one I can stay on the D. Here's the A7 chord. You can do a little mini chord. Here's a mini. That would be 9 and 8. And then call these dyads. Dyads, two notes. guarantee you there's a lot of buzz in Holland. Just go to a coffee shop. Get your buzz on. I like this lick. So I'm just trying to show you how you can take just a few notes and kind of mix it up and even build a whole solo around it. A lot of times we talk about soloing as being a kind of a theme and variations. You know, you come up with a nice idea, and if it's a good theme, milk it. You know, make variations on it. Don't, because I'll tell you, when the first time I ever played in a blues band, I go, oh, blues is easy. I can do this. Anybody can. Easy. The problem was the first song, and it was a 3-hour set, or it was 3 sets, so it was like 3 40-minute sets. The first song, I used up all the blues licks I had in my arsenal. I used them all up. That was it. I was done. And so I was like, oh, I get it. Now it's a lot harder than I thought it was, because in blues, you pretty much are going to have a guitar solo in every song. I mean, that's a foregone conclusion. And if you're going to be playing, you know, 2+ hours of music, or 2 hours of music, you better come up with some more licks than just that. And so I discovered that the secret for me was to kind of come up with a lick per song, and then just go, okay, I'm going to try to do a theme and variations on this lick for the, you know, and so you know so like. You know, and so it may mean going up an octave or whatever, but back and forth. It may mean going down an octave. It may mean doing the same lick over and over again. It may, you know, like I always give that example of Dizzy Miss Lizzie, you know. That my friend was in a band, top 40 band, or kind of a classic rock band, and they did that song, and he managed, I don't know, it's like 47 times that lick is in that song, and he managed to find 47 different ways to do it. And it was he may do it, but he, you know, and then he would go. Or whatever. I mean, I don't even remember all the different variations, but it wasn't, you know, he did that because he was bored. So let's see. Yeah, many colors in blues, and in this case we have 2, yellow or orange-ish and blue. Really is not very orange on that video. It should be orange. Jan deleted his buzz comment. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, you weren't thinking of coffee buzz in Holland. No, that's right. So anyway, yeah, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do these blues notes to pentatonic numero 3, which is our least favorite pentatonic. But the cool thing, again, we're going to have 3 blues notes in pentatonic number 3, whereas in pentatonic 3 we only had 2 minor roots and 2 major roots. There's 2 scales like that, I think, and it's one of them, and it's got a position shift, but we won't actually have to go far to get the blues notes. The blues notes in pentatonic number 3 are actually pretty convenient, and I like them. I use them actually. So I'll show. We'll the lick we did here, this lick, which is so fun. that's, that we're doing in this shape, pentatonic number 2, is here in pentatonic number 3. So you can totally tell you can camp there for a long time. So that's where we're in a minute. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Oh, Leo. Yep. No, totally true there, Leo. All right. So let's see. Any questions? Any questions? And just so you know, I don't play in a blues band anymore, and I haven't in a long time. And I don't think we did that much, that many gigs, and it wasn't kind of my thing. So there were guys that were much better at it in town, and so I kind of guarding your brand, I guess you could say. I kind of didn't want to make a fool of myself. Plus, probably didn't pay anything, so. That's why they're singing the blues, because it doesn't pay anything. But yeah, it's so okay. Any questions about this or anything? Well, I mean, anything music related. What chord types can be used? You mean, I'm not sure what you mean. Let's see. Sound possibilities, minor, major, happy, creepy in the same spots. Yeah, I mean, you could do minor blues too. There's definitely minor blues. Technically, I think, if you think about it, in fact, I didn't realize Black Magic, or I forgot that Black Magic Woman was written by Peter Green. But like D minor blues. Yeah, so yeah, you can use dominant 7th chords. So in the key of like A blues, you could do A7, D7, and E7. You could do minor blues. A lot of times you might use the E7 for the 5 chord instead of E minor, but I've heard both. The E7 kind of gives it a Spanish flavor almost. But yeah, the dominant 7ths, which is another term for 7th chord. Back in the day, we used to actually put DOM before the 7. So you would write, CMAJ7, then you would write DMIN7 and EMIN and FMAJ, and you would get to G7 and you write GDOM7. It was kind of cumbersome and time consuming and didn't last long, but it was very descriptive. All right, so let's see. Do I have a story? I don't have a story. Is Diane here? Uh-oh. Did she ever get that story last? Analytics. Here we go. Okay. I'm trying to think of, well, I mean, it kind of told the story about the blues. Oh, well, I mean, a sad story about that blues band. I was like really excited to start rehearsals with this band. It was a drummer friend of mine that started it, or asked me to be in it with another guitar player. So that was good. I did have another guitar player that I could trade off with. And I think I sang a couple tunes too. I can't remember what songs. And a bass player, of course. So it was a quartet. And my first guitar teacher, boy, I don't know if I remember him, but I can tell you that's a good one. I got early guitar teachers, and I had what was I talking about? Oh, the blues band thing. So I just bought a 60s Marshall 50-watt head. And I was like, it was insanely loud. Keep in mind, we lived in an apartment building for 30 years, so I really never had a chance to crank it. So I was really looking forward to this rehearsal because I was going to be able to crank my vintage Marshall head that I bought, right? 60s. It wasn't a plexi. It was just post-plexi. I still have it. And so I had this thing. I bought this thing called the Juice Extractor. It was I think it was made by Rocktron. And it was the Alan Holdsworth Juice Extractor. And it was so you could crank an amp, but it would take that and step it down so it wouldn't be so loud. Oh, bummer. And so I basically kind of cranked it so that I would get a lot of gain and everything. And this back didn't have any money or anything too, and I cranked it and put through the juice extractor. I think I borrowed a 412 cabinet. I didn't have one at the time, and totally fried the power supply. It died, just blew it up right then and there. It was like, oh, that was so sad. I forget what amp I ended up using for the gig, but it wasn't that one because I don't think I got it fixed in time. I had to spend a bunch of money, and it was Red Rhodes was the guy that repaired it. Red was a pedal steel player in town, did a lot of pedal steel thing, and he was really good friends with Mike Nesmith from the Monkees, and played in his band. But he also repaired amps. So I have no idea, because at the time I didn't know that one of the big contributors to the vintage sound was the power supply. So I still to this day don't know what kind of power supply he put in there. I have a friend that works, I know the owner of Mercury power supply company, the guy that makes Mercury power supplies. They're really, really the best. Very, very good at being the vintage thing. And so I could at some point maybe take it in and have them put a new Mercury power supply in there. But maybe Red replaced it with a vintage. I doubt it. But what would have been right to do would put a vintage Marshall power supply in there. But I doubt he did that. Okay. So you asked about my first guitar teacher. I have a vague memory of my first guitar teacher. I was 9, and we were living in Potomac, Maryland. So there was some music store. I wonder if it's still there. Couldn't even tell. Probably called Potomac Music Store or something. Potomac Music Store. Murder. Potomac, Maryland murder. Let's see. Music and Arts, John Simon Guitar Center. Interesting. Must be. Yeah, I mean, I doubt. Yeah, I definitely doubt it was this. These all look like new. It was definitely kind of in an old part of town. It was all, and I'm pretty sure it was. I had to go down to the basement. You know, a lot of music stores had the lessons at the basement. I'm touching my nose so we can take a sip. But my recollection of the guy was that he had a goatee, a black goatee. He pretty much looked like the Peter, Paul, and Mary. Which one is Peter, Paul? Which one's the guy with the glasses and the goatee and the beret? That's pretty much what my memory of him was. Well, they both had goatees in this picture. No, it was definitely the guy with the less hair. That must be Peter. I'm not sure which one's which. Images. Really hard to know. But he kind of had a goatee. He kind of looked like an art. He basically looked like this is my first guitar teacher. He basically looked like a beatnik. right? This is 1970, so I was 9 years old. 1970, beatniks were a thing in the 50s, so he just found his style and he stuck with it, right? And I think he wore a beret. Let's see, that was the summer of 1970, and I was learning Alfred's Basic Guitar Method. Remember, we've talked about this. If you want to learn how to read music, just use a basic guitar method book and teach yourself. You could probably do 3 or 4 pages a day and get to the end of the book by 3 months or so, and have a basic understanding of reading music for guitar. The downside to that is if you're not going to use it, you'll forget it. So a year later, if you've not done anything with it, you'll probably not remember how to read music. But if it's something you're going to use, then I recommend it. Then we moved from Potomac, Maryland to Wallingford, Pennsylvania. And I think we had to go to Media, Pennsylvania, or Westchester. One of those, I can't remember which city we had to go to. There was no guitar store in Wallingford. And that one, I don't remember really, to be honest. The only thing I remember about that store is that they also sold stamps, and I was a stamp collector. And so they had this big thing where you could like fill up a bag with stamps for $1 or something like that. And so I would go there and do that. And then of course, take the heat, get the stamps off the paper and put them in my book and everything. So I remember that. And then like we only lived in outside of Philadelphia for a year and a half. And I'm pretty sure for the first couple of years of taking lessons, my mom didn't make me take lessons in the summer. It was only after school. Hey, A.B., how's it going? Miss you. And so I'm talking about my early guitar teachers. And then I went we moved to Indianapolis, and we went, so we're living on the north side of Indianapolis, and there's a store called Phelan's Music in Carmel, Indiana. And Jack Phelan was a bass player, and he owned it. And I started out taking lessons with Jack, and then I moved to a guy, I think Dave, I want to say Langford or Langton, I'll have to look it up. Dave, and then there was another guy named Kevin Reese, and then also I studied with, Kevin Reese still teaches. He's down in, I think, New Albany, Indiana, or maybe Southern Indiana or Northern Kentucky, I'm not sure. He's got a studio there, Rees. But one of those teachers, I can't remember if it was Kevin, I think it was Dave. I would come in for the lesson every week, and he would go, "Hey, Deadeye, how's it going?" He called me Deadeye. I've told this story before. And I didn't say anything for a while, but about 6-8 weeks later, I'm like, "So, how did you call me Deadeye? How did you know I was blind in one eye?" And he was like, "You're blind in one eye?" So he stopped calling me Deadeye. It's pretty funny. Uh-oh, buffering alert. Dang it. Franco, good to see you. I've never had a broken truss rod, as far as I know. Sorry about the buffering. Hopefully it'll. I've never had a broken truss rod in any of my guitars, as far as I know. But that's a toughie. I'm not sure even how they repair that, or it's just better to get a new neck. If it's a bolt-on neck, that's fairly easy, like a Strat or a Tele. But if it's an acoustic guitar, and a lot of times when truss rods break, it's because you try to tighten them too much. And so that's usually the cause, but it's pretty rare. If on a cheap guitar, it might be more common, but on an expensive guitar, it's up. Now, I don't think, like my Martin, that Martin doesn't have a truss rod. And so the Martins will often have neck issues down the road over time, but, oh, you broke your guitar recently? No. You got to be careful. I've had some accidents with guitars, but I don't think I've ever broken one. You know, Gibsons are really prone to having the headstocks broken off. I've seen many. You know, like I had a friend that actually just was spinning around and hit his headstock on a mic stand and it snapped right off. And because it's for some reason, and I'm not sure if it's older Gibsons or if newer Gibsons are more fortified now. I mean, because it's weird because this has actually like you can see it's actually got a hump here. So it's almost like it's got extra meat there for and this headstock has not been broken off. In fact, that's one of the things. If you buy a Gibson, yeah, I think you would see if this has been broken. Even though they repainted this, this is not the original color. Of course, almost all SGs, 60s or 70s SGs were just pure mahogany. So they, you know, I see shades of that mahogany behind the paint that's coming off. This one's just kind of a bastardized SG, but I really like it. It's my first SG. I got it just a couple of years ago. Okay, one way you can tell if you got a broken truss rod, your neck is going to go crazy, potentially. It may go backward bowing. It may bow this way. The other thing is if you shake the guitar, if you hear a clunk, 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 clunk in the neck, that means your truss rod's just kind of not attached to anything, or one end isn't attached. I think it's attached to both ends, but I really don't know. I'm not a tech. This does have a truss rod. Most guitars have a truss rod. Classical guitars do not, because their necks are really, really big. So they really generally don't tend to move very much. And my oud does not have a truss rod. Same thing. It's a pretty thick neck, so not going anywhere. There's not much tension on a classical guitar neck either compared to like a steel string or an electric guitar. But yeah, you would generally know. I think on an acoustic guitar too. I've played, you know, one that had a broken truss rod, and it played fine. The neck hadn't jacked up yet, but you know, certain chords it would vibrate the neck, and you could hear it rattling in there. And so that's pretty much it makes it unusable for me anyway. For studio work, I can't have that. So. Anyway, yeah, this was a tough day. Just totally messed up. Yeah, I'm wearing my shirt inside out. I broke a string. I'm actually going to have to. It's good. I need to restring that guitar anyway. It's been a while. And I totally had the diagram wrong. I did it this morning, so. Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, truss rod. Yeah, I mean, truss rods are. Let's see. That's great, Bruce. Yeah, that's a great observation. You might not hear it, but if it turns without resistance, then you know it's probably not attached at the other end. So, Hang Chang, should I buy a Fender or Epiphone for my first electric guitar? Sorry, Chang, Han. You know, it just depends. You know, like I'm a big Strat guy. I really like Stratocasters. I feel like they're really versatile. You can get a good clean sound out of it. You can get a good gain sound. I mean, it's always easy to, you know, gain's easy to get out of any guitar because you just buy another pedal. You know, if you just have a gainy pedal or you put two distortion pedals together, you crank your amp or whatever. But sometimes it's hard to get a good clean sound out of it, like a Gibson. You know, humbucker, because the pickups are so hot. And then I like typically Epiphones. They're a Gibson company. So Epiphones, when you say Epiphone, I'm thinking a Les Paul type guitar, you know, a Gibson type guitar. You know, the Gibson Fender discussion. And so the radius is different on a Gibson than a Fender. And so what the radius is the curvature of the fretboard. And Gibsons feel flatter, all right? So they're easier to bend on. And I find that when I tend to overbend on a Gibson because it's easier to bend, and I play mostly strats all the time. But I do like this guitar a lot. But I also like having a tremolo arm for vibrato and things like that. I do a lot of kind of effecty things, and so I like to have that. But when you say Epiphone, I'm thinking like a 335, which is the one that over there you can't really see behind the chair. That's the gray one there. That's an Epiphone. Oh, I can change guitars, but that one I have tuned high strung. So this one I have tuned high strung, which is, I have the bottom 4 strings, the lower 4 strings tuned up. I have skinny strings on there. I don't tune them up. Not if I put. And I got this for $80. So if I do this. It's all like up and up. And my daughter did the artwork on this, which is amazing. See that? Very Beatlesy. You know, very Revolver looking guitar. And it's pretty darn cool, right? My daughter's very talented. But yeah, that's and you can take a sip for that. Let me pick it up another guitar. So it's kind of up to you as far as your first electric guitar. It's, you know, you could pick the wrong Gibson or wrong Fender. A lot of times what I recommend is if you've got a guitar playing friend, maybe say, hey, I'll buy you a coffee if you go to Guitar Center with me and help me pick out a guitar. You know, someone who's a lot better than you. Or say, I'll buy you lunch or dinner if you help me pick out a guitar. That's always a good trick. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. She made that guitar worth a lot more than $80. But I bought that guitar specifically to make it a high-strung guitar. And I you know, it's got soap bars, which are kind of cool, but they're a little noisy. But in the middle position, they're wired opposite, so they do phase cancellation, and it works kind of a phasing thing. So, yeah. So I've got to put new strings on this. You know. The ball end fell out. See, I've got cotton in the back, stuffed in the cotton. This guitar, for some reason, the springs would just ring, and the pickups would pick up the springs. I've got Spurzl tuners on this, which is great, so I can change strings really fast on it. And those are locking tuners, Spurzls. But I put those on this. It didn't come with them. That's one of those things that I like having them. They make it stay in tune better because you have a lot less string. You have very little string up here on the headstock, or past the head on the headstock. It's a half wind, and that's it. So very, very little. See, a lot of times with when you have 3 or 4 wrappings around the tuner, and you do like a whammy bar thing where you go down and you let up, the wound strings in particular, the grooves on the wound strings, they're like this, and you loosen it and they may go like this, and then they come back and they're like this. So now you're a little out of tune on that string because they gripped a different way. So the Spurzls really kind of take care of that. Let's see if you can see those. So you just spin that wheel, and the wheel, when you spin the wheel, a pin comes down, and you take the string, you put the string in, you spin the wheel again, and it pushes you pull the string as tight as you can get it, and then you crank the wheel down, and it pushes the pin into the string. and it holds the string, and then you just tighten from there. So you have very, very little string up here, and it also makes for very quick changing because you don't have to spin this 1,000 times. It's just a few times and you're good to go. So, pro tip. Mark, hey Mark, Reagan, you're alive. Easy is here. High strung is basically what you're doing is a 12-string guitar is strung same as a guitar, E, A, D, G, B, E. It's the same notes, but the bottom 4 strings, the low E, the A, and D, and the G, all have octave up strings as well. And then the top 2 strings are unison, okay? So if you were to take those strings that you're using to make a 6-string, a 12-string, those octave up on the bottom 4 and then the unison on top, that's exactly, that's a high, you put that on a guitar and that's a high-strung guitar. And it's a way, if you play a high-strung acoustic, which I have, with a regular acoustic, you strum them and try to do exactly the same thing, and you put them together, it almost sounds like a 12-string. I like it because you can separate those features. So, for example, I might do acoustic guitar and then double it left and right, and then put the high strung in the middle. And then if I wanted to brighten up the track, I just bring in a little bit of that high strung, and it's kind of this. It almost sounds like a harmonizer or something, but it's just kind of, it's very natural, and it resonates really nice. And that's a high strung electric, which I can tell you I haven't used a lot. I've used it on some effecty things, maybe some high stuff. I try to use it on some pop things. I also have what's called an African tuning. I have a telly that's African tuned, and that's where you just take the D string and take it off and put it like an E string on, a high skinny E string, and tune that up an octave. So you just have one string up an octave, the D string. And that's basically kind of like a ukulele tuning. Let's see, okay. Yeah, Gary, you're getting them. Yeah, see, you're like me. I don't have any ideas right now for restringing anything. So, yeah, I won't, Charlie. I'm actually going to replace all the strings. If I break one string, I just replace them all. If I break a string, it usually tells me that it's time to change the strings. Let's see. Gary said, I picked up a Squier Telly and an RG120. What's an RG120? Is that an Ibanez? Both for less than $80 used. You tend to play acoustic more. Yeah. But the electrics, it's fun to have electric. It's like I said, even my Squier, in fact, the Squier, you guys know that this black Squier I have, I paid $99 for. I mean, that's what I use on all of my pop stuff for the most part, because it just has that thin sound. That's what I used on ETA. I can see. I'll pull up the. Oh, I haven't put any Discord links up. Let me put a Discord link up. Dang it! So I'm going to make this link permanent copy. Oh, weird. I thought I delete. No, those are correct. Okay, I got to upload the new diagrams. Oh, it's an Ibanez. Okay, we took 2 humbuckers. Yeah, for under $80, you can't beat that, really, to be honest. To have a 2 humbucker guitar. Let's see. Okay, so hopefully, actually, Gary, it's the 6, 5, 4, 3 strings. Yeah, it's actually the lower 4 strings are up an octave. I can pull it down again. Hold on a second. Gary's a trooper. I tried to write some pop music with it. I haven't really succeeded. I'm working with an artist today, trying to come up with a hook for something. But the top 2 strings are the same. Let me just change sounds. Hopefully I won't break a string. mean, I've got a 9, I think. The G is actually a 009. It's very skinny. In fact, so the G string is, I think, a 009. It's very, very skinny. I used to play with 9s. That used to be, so the E string was a 9. I did a video. Where are they? Here they are. Hi. Yeah, here it is. How to string a high-strung guitar. I think I did acoustic and electric here, so you can watch this video and learn about it. But basically, what it is it's E, B. Hear that? So I'm playing an E chord. It doesn't sound big and huge. But where it gets fun is when you start to play notes that are so where you're going to have like the top, like here. I play like if I played an E7 and added a C sharp. That relationship between the open D string and that C sharp is a half step. It's something you couldn't normally do on a standard guitar. This chord would be impossible to play on a regular guitar. Or like this A, I love this A. All I'm doing there is I'm playing an A chord, but I'm opening up the D string. So it's A, D, A, C sharp, E. So that it's like D7 or G. Certain chords just sound really cool. I haven't really found like a hip hop or a pop vibe on this thing yet. On the yes, I just haven't found anything really cool, but that's a high strung. And like I said, I think I paid $80 for this, and then my daughter did all the artwork on it. Oops, like this. Yeah, it's totally dope. I mean, it's the coolest thing. It's my favorite guitar. So because of that. All right. So I am going to depart. I've got work to do today. I got to try to create a hook for an artist, and that is hard because you got to get into a zone and you got to just keep messing around until you find something. It's really hard. Usually when I create hooks that I use for artists, I would say more than half of the time I'm just kind of messing around and I come up with something. It's harder to say, okay, now I'm going to create genius. That's really hard to do. So, isn't that funny? Yeah, Max, you use your Squier Strat more than yours. Yeah, I know. To be honest, my Fender Strat is, my main Strat is in the gig bag in the closet because I take it to gigs and church and stuff like that. But the Squier is just sitting right here in my studio, so I'm always grabbing it. I probably should get another real Fender guitar, but Strat, but I don't, if I ever need the Strat, which it happens, like when I was doing that Hendrix stuff, I went ahead and grabbed that Strat. But let's see. I know, it's great. Oh, HSS, so that's humbucker's single. And I'm assuming the humbucker was in so HS, so from the bridge to the neck, it's humbuckers single. That's really standard configuration. And I actually bought one of those for $75 just a few months ago. I'm actually thinking of making that one it's funny because I think it's going to cost me at least $200 to do this, but I want to make it a fretless electric. So I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to have my guitar tech make it fretless, and then I'll put flat wound strings on it. I think flat wound strings will work better on a fretless neck. I could be wrong, but I'm going to try it. But it's funny because I'm going to spend $200 to redo a neck that on a guitar that cost me $75. So Let's see. Okay. Yep, and it's a little cooler today, which is nice. Right, Leo? It's a little cooler in LA and California. We'll take it. So I am going to sign off. Thank you so much for watching. I think our peak was not very high today, 37. That's not bad, but it really been sitting in the 30 most of the day. And right now we're at 23, so everybody's kind of like, okay, Tom's getting ready to sign off, so I'm going to take off. But thank you for the likes. That helps. And I will see you, wait, what's today, Friday? Yeah, Monday. So Lord willing, Monday. Although, like I said, I'm in the middle of this record project. And that's part of the reason why I did this 9 o'clock start, because feasibly I could do both, because the call time for my other session for that record, I did one last week, was, or was it this week? I can't remember now. Was 11 o'clock. So this way we can do both. Oh, that was last Friday. So this way we can do both. And so what I will, I could feasibly do at least an hour here with you guys at 9 o'clock and then go to my session. So unless he sets up an early session, but I think it's probably going to be typical. 11 o'clock is pretty typical for us for that. So anyway, definitely, Gary, you definitely got to get one of those do a song on it. Totally be fun. Yeah, be safe, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. God bless. Thanks.